earth and has southern exposure, so it stays fairly cool. Actually, the major part of the barn back in the back is entirely under earth. Over here is where the cow fell through the roof. We had an oxen fall through the roof when Siki Das was in charge of the ag department when they voted him in. And one fell through here and one fell through over here. So we had two oxen get in. One of them died, got electrocuted. It's a very unfortunate thing. We're not happy to report it, but it's a fact nonetheless. And so that cost about $500 or $600 to get them to do this tongue and groove working to repair the floor. And that was tragic, but we're going ahead with all auspicity by God's grace. Down here, we had these main, what do you call these, cross beams supporting the entire structure of the barn, and they were slipping off the post. So the Amish people that did all our main infrastructure material improvements came and jacked the entire barn up and then pounded these back in here, and then they took some rebar and fixed them into the roof so that they couldn't slide back off when we put all the hay up, and the weight would sometimes cause some vibration. But if you look from down here, you can see how it's quite crooked. It has shifted through stress over time, and the beam was quite off plumb. And indeed, we had to put another post in over here to give more support. Right here, a new beam here, and over here we did the same thing. This one was on even more. In fact, you can see how twisted it got due to stress. And here is how far off it was right here. This used to be over here. And by that being over there, that was off that way. So we had to put in an extra post after straightening it. This is quite a job. This cost about $900 to do, because it was mostly a work of labor of jacking up the barn and fixing everything properly. So, what else did we do in here? Well, we did some little work over there. We put a ladder going up into the hay mow region, the upper region of the barn where we store the hay. That was fixed. And we have to go further to see further work that we've done. Oh, out here we had to put this new runner on. That runner was coming off, so it was bent and twisted, so we put on a new runner. The doors were coming off the hinges. We had to refix the doors. These doors along the side were inoperable for the last 3 years, so we had them rehinge the doors. If you back up, you can see all the new spouting that we put on. There was never spouting on here in 20 years. So that keeps the place dry, and we run the water away pretty well. We also fixed some more planks up there that were broken. And this structure on the end, this lean-to, used to be for the sheep only, but now we put in 14 inches of slate road through there, bringing it up high enough so the sheep manger is now low enough for a cow to eat, go above it and eat out of it. We also put a new roof on there, new gates on both sides, new doors on the back, a gate in the front. We rehinged that door over there into the corner box stall of the barn. New siding on the walls, pretty much rebuilt, and then new spouting on the top. And like I said, new roof. You can see the new roof. Another thing we did, in line with the water diversion ditches that I started off describing out front, was with all this spouting, so much water was coming off the roof in a rainstorm. Before it was just falling off the side of the barn. Like this whole gutter system before was completely destroyed through neglect. So we put on new gutters, and it runs down here, and we put these nice perforated tubes in that go underneath the road. We dug it out with a backhoe, so all the water that comes off this barn and the main barn is diverted down into the Gitanagari Creek. It goes all the way down there to that same water diversion area. It's just so spectacular, isn't it, folks? And over here, like I said, this new gate that Amish built out of oak plank, it's heavy enough for 5 men to have to lift one of them 5 inches to hold one. Those are there probably for another 20 years, barring earthquakes and different work. And there's Jamuna Das painting, red fence. It's doing nice work. And of course we have Gitanagari, the main pillar of Gitanagari for 20 years, doing just one tiny drop of the ocean of service that he's offered to this place in the last couple decades. And walk under, well, maybe we want to. Look at us. Oh, look at this nice red grass. We got green and red grass here. It's a spiritual world. Huh? Yeah. Yeah, we're running.
I think it's now.
This is what we needed today, Ed.
Yeah, we did.
So, well, let's come over here. I'll start on this side. Almost attached to the main barn, there's just that little driveway between the two. And this has been here for about 10 years. And it wasn't much used, or the utility of it wasn't much enhanced until we increased the usability of it. First of all, there was a wall in here that was very dilapidated. It wasn't a supporting wall, so we took that out. That makes it so we can bring the, in the winter and the fall months, a tractor in, push all the manure over to the edge there. So there's no impediment. If you don't have the manpower for hand scraping the manure, then you can just bring a tractor in. And this also used to be a manger area, but we filled it in with concrete, Prabhupad Das's direction last year. So the whole thing's flat, so we can just scrape it real easily with the tractor. But of course, last year I did almost the entire amount by hand. It's much more advantageous because sometimes you bring tractors in here and you bang it into a manger, which are the feeding areas for the cows, and that can wreak a lot of havoc. Over here, on the far end, the same Amish group, they rebuilt that whole foundation. It was crumbling and the wall was about to give in, so they jacked up the barn and put in a new foundation, and they buttressed the wall with these 2 by 8 foot oak planks, so when the 2,000-pound creatures, our oxen, bang into the wall, they won't smash into the wall. They repaired this manger here. It's completely falling apart. Put in these new posts so that when we have sick cows that are being harassed by the larger ones, we can run 14-foot boards across here and partition the thing off like it was in the old days, but only with a couple boards we can do that, so we don't need the whole wall. That leaves the whole thing open for when we need it. And there's a watering thing here, so even though there's a fence going across here, both sides can drink out of the same automatic water dispenser. And here's the mangers they put in, so we can feed another 6 or 7 creatures. And also, they're built out from the wall in such a way that you can feed them without having to get in the way of the cows. So you can walk behind there, yet the cows can't get out. It's all blocked in. This fence out here was completely dilapidated. It was falling off. 2 cows had fallen off, and it was all makeshift to keep it up. But the same Amish group, you can see it's in concrete, they had to take a jackhammer out, a pneumatic drill, and drill out each post. Each of these locust posts, they were all rotting from like 20 years of neglect and manure and cow urine getting in there and rotting it out. So they had to pull them all out, and then we used the backhoe. They had to take these locust posts and they had to plane the ends to fit in the holes. Then they took the bucket of the backhoe and banged it, each one. It took 110 hours to do this work right here with 6 men. It was a massive job. And then I had to put these 2 by 10 planks on the top, because with a 2,000-pound animal in other barnyards, their cows only live like 2 or 3 years. They don't get to maximum growth. And so therefore this would be enough for those, this outer board here, as most fence are. But for us that would just be cosmetic. We need this because our animals are 2,500 pounds. And then this board along here is the runner board, so you can scrape the manure along here, down to here, and over there's the ledge. And over here we built the road. It used to just be all mud and it got washed away. It'd be 3 feet sinking in here after a storm in the past. But now we have, the road goes all the way down there with slate. There's 2 layers of slate coming all the way down here, so we back the tractor in from over there, with the oxen, with the manure spreader over to that ledge. And then we take the scrapers and the pitchforks and we push the manure into the spreader, and we take it out in the field and evenly spread the manure and fertilize all the grass out there. These posts are also new. These 8 by 8 by 12 posts. They were all rotting out at the bottom. And then more mangers over here. All these wood mangers have been recently put in. Also, the gate down there was rebuilt. That comes into here. That gate is completely dilapidated. And we put in these supporting beams here. Keep your cows from sticking your heads because we store hay in here in the wintertime. And then over here, and that far barn it's just a hangout in the wintertime, but you can see in the center part we put mangers, and then in the back we cut a door so you can walk from the back all the way into the manger, walking inside the manger and feed the cows without touching them or being harassed by them, because they get pretty rambunctious when you're feeding. That's like a $400 job right there, putting in 25 mangers. In the future we're going to have a further down, we're going to have a road to the lower pasture where we're going to grow winter grass, and we're going to keep 25 cows out there, and we're going to put watering, a water irrigation thing in there so we can bring water out there, and in that way we can graze some of the cows in the winter, and whatever supplemental hay they need we can go around back and bring it in and feed them out there, and they can also hang out in that building in a storm when it's severely cold. So these are the main infrastructure improvements we've done. Aside from running miles of fence, and now we're painting the barn. That's basically what we've done to improve things. What's that? Okay, over there is the milk house, and I plan in the future, there's a big tank in there for storing thousands of gallons of milk, and we haven't used that for many years because we're only milking 2 cows now. In the past, when there was over 100 residents of this farm, they were milking like 20 or 30 cows at a time, so they needed a huge storage tank to store all the overflow of milk. So we're going to take that tank out of there. That's where they also use for milking the existing cows. There's just a sink on the one side. So I plan to take the tank out of that one building and make a little office in there, a reception area for Adopt-A-Cow, expand the Adopt-A-Cow facility, and put a sign out front welcoming people, Adopt-A-Cow Welcoming Center, and keep a refrigerator with some nice milk sweets that are made from the milk taken from our cows. And just expand the office, put in paper on a desk so people, members of the agricultural department can write letters every day to supporting people of the Adopt-A-Cow, and in that way expand our base of support, and thereby make the farm a more friendly place for the cows and for people to come here and see what we're doing in our service to Krishna in the agrarian, simple living, high thinking mode of life. Thank you.